Alright, ladies and gents, these are the notes for O4.5, solving equations with radicals. Objectives: you'll be able to solve equations involving radicals. So, some things to remember here. Square root. Square root. They don't normally write a 2 on there on that bench, but that merely means there's an imaginary 2 on there when they don't have a number. That means 2 of a kind. So what two factors are the same factor themselves? So what's the square root of 64? So 64, we break that down. We know that's 1 and 64, 2 and 32. We work our way up, our way down, we have 8 times 8. So the square root of 64 is 8. Now we could also put this in the calculator, square root of 64. So we hit on button, hit second, and right above the x squared, in blue, or in yellow, depending on what calculator you have, hit the square root button, type in 64, close parentheses, and then hit enter, and you get 8. Square root of 81 is 9. Square root of 121 is 11. You can always double check yourself by doing the reverse. 8 squared, meaning 8 times 8, is 64. 9 times 9 is 81. 11 times 11 is 121. So there's two numbers that are multiplied together to get us that number that's underneath the square root. So now, opposites. We know the opposite of addition is subtraction, the opposite of subtraction is addition, and the opposite of multiplication is division, and the opposite of division is multiplication. The opposite of square root is x squared. When we square something, I mean you have two numbers being multiplied together. The two numbers that are the same being multiplied together. Pardon me. Cube root is the opposite is three numbers being multiplied together. Fourth root is four numbers. The opposite is four numbers being multiplied together. So these are the opposites. So let's consider doing a couple problems here. We have 2 times x squared. Our goal is to first get that x squared all by itself. So we have to break apart this times 2. The opposite of times 2 is divide by 2. So we divide by 2 to both sides. And we're going to get x squared is equal to 16. To get rid of that squared, we do the square root to both sides. We square root both sides. So x squared, we do the square root of that, we get x. The square root of 16 is 4. So our answer is x equals 4. Now, if we see a little bit further, square root of 16, it also has another answer too. X could also equal negative 4 in this case, because negative 4 squared is 16, and 16 times 2 gets you 32. So sometimes there's multiple answers. So you could always try the opposite. Let's see if the answer still works out. Let's do this one. We have 3x squared equals 192. This is 3 times x squared, so the opposite of times 3 is divide by 3. So we get x squared equals, well, 192 divided by 3, I think that's 64. Yes, it is. We square both sides. Square root of 64 is x equals 8, and x equals negative 8. Because 8 times 8 gets you 64, and negative 8 times negative 8 gets you 64. So that's how I know it's both those answers. Let's try another one here. We have negative 4 times x squared. So you divide by negative 4 to both sides. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So we get x equals 9. Oh, sorry, x squared equals 9. Now we gotta take the square root to both sides. And we're gonna get x equals positive 3 and negative 3. Let's try a problem like this. We have 5 times x squared plus 7. So we're going to try to get that x squared by itself. So we subtract 7 from both sides. So we get 5x squared equals 20. Divide by 5 to both sides. And we get x squared equals 9. I'm sorry, equals 4. Square root both sides. So square root of x squared is x. Square root of 4 is both positive 2 and negative 2. Let's do another. So here's our problem. Our goal is to solve for x. So we subtract 3 from both sides. So we get negative 2x to the third. Oh, it's a little bit different. Equals negative 432. Divide both sides by negative 2. We get x to the third is equal to 216. Now the opposite of x to the third is a cube root. So that's a square root but with a 3. So we're going to cube root both sides and we're going to get x equals. We put that in the calculator. To get the cube root, we hit math and we scroll down to number 4. That'll be the cube root of 216, which gets you 6. So x equals 6. That was a tough one. Alright, here's your classwork and your homework. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or come next drop. I'll be happy to do a couple more of these problems with you. Alright, have yourself a good night.